This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock.
Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today in the arena we're dusting off elementals. Yup, people have been trying to make this deck good again since Best of 3 Standard has become very slow, which means that there's a lot of time to do things like Risen Reef and Thassa into Agent of Treachery. Croaky's being the probably biggest Magic streamer, playing a lot of elementals lately. But what about Best of 1, where it's still a very fast, aggressive meta? Well, things are a lot harder there, without question. So I've been working on a version that I think you would enjoy and think that most people would enjoy. It's a bit on the greedy side. As you see, there aren't many 2-drops. There's 4 Leafkin Druids and there's 4 Growth Spiral, and it's doing something that I hate doing, which... How do I tell the story about this? A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, there was a game called Magic Duels, and when it was released, the only sweeper was in black, and it was Languish, which did -4/-4 to all creatures. Sound familiar? And they're one of the most popular, the only good tribe, well, not the only good tribe, there were 2 good tribes. There was Thopters and there was Elves, and Elves was a green-black tribe. So a lot of times I would see people playing green-black elves and they would run Languish in their elf deck. And obviously the philosophy is if the only good decks are creature decks and you fall behind with your elf deck, you're just going to lose unless you have Languish. But you're running Languish in a deck full of creatures that get killed by Languish. Well, this deck is doing kind of the same thing. But I think it's right here because this deck generates a ton of value. If this deck spends its early turns ramping and drawing some cards with Risen Reef, and the opponent plays creature, 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 you're just gonna die, even if you have a lot more cards than them. What you need is you need time to set up Thassa Deep Dwelling and Agent of Treachery, time to get to 8 lands, so your Omnath generates an absurd amount of value, time to bring Uro back over and over. So I'm using Storm's Wrath, and Storm's Wrath can wipe away all of those creatures and buy you the time you need. It also doesn't kill your Cavalier of Thorns. It doesn't kill your Uro that you brought back. And with the help of Omnath's +1/+1 counters, you can save your Leafkin Druids and Omnath from the Wrath. Much harder to save a Risen Reef, just so you know. The land count is absurd. 28 frickin' land, because if you miss a land with this deck, you die. So Growth Spiral, Uro, we're trying to get up to 8 lands so that Omnath starts drawing cards, and we can do agent stuff. And that's how we generally win the game. This deck can definitely self-mill itself, so be mindful of where and how you pace your threats. There aren't a lot of ways to burn the opponent out well with Omnath, because we don't run that many elementals, to be honest. We're like on 16 elementals. So yeah, really think about, am I going to deck myself? But I will tell you this. It's very fun. If you like triggers, I got some for you. Let's dive in. Let this nonsense begin. To battle. Yep. We got a Risen Reef on the play. And some Omnath action. No ramp. But I don't think we can mulligan it. I would keep a land or a ramp, I think. Agent, not so much. Well, hold on here. We're probably going to draw land anyway, but I guess I can't take the chance. I can't take the chance that I miss. And now I'm glad we didn't, because our opponent is playing the only Best of 1 deck worth playing. It's mono red. And our hand is not the fastest. We're gonna need that Storm's Wrath. Growth Spiral. You can try to spiral into Cavalier of Thorns, but I think we just need to play the Risen Reef, have a blocker, or make the opponent use their mana to kill it. Alright, we got to ramp anyway, that's nice. Yep, Bone Crushes. Let the party begin. They don't have light up the stage. They're not a good red mage. There you go. All right. Where's that Storm's Wrath we put in the deck, huh? Not here. Alright, we can go get an island or a forest for another green source. We need to play the Cavalier of Thorns. Get a big blocker in here. Ooh, there's a Storm's Wrath in the graveyard, so if they kill this, we get it. And there's an Uro in the graveyard with gas. That's pretty good. But the opponent has the Steamkin, so they get to play their grip, basically. They get to play it all. But can they do anything against the Cavalier? That's going to be the question. So kick back, everybody. Relax for a second. Let the opponent begin to hurt us. This is they're gonna play anything and everything they want to play. Okay, going in for that haste. I guess their plan is to attack through it all. Yep. Is it Embercleave, the last card? Of course it's Embercleave. It's always Embercleave. Oh my god. Just... yeah. Like I said, the only deck worth playing. On the bright side, we get that Storm's Wrath. So would you like to play your Bone Crusher Giant? No! I'm stunned. Alright. Fine, be that way. Let's draw first, I suppose. Wow, Omnath City. If they don't rip a Fervent Champion and lethal me, then I will again be disappointed in their red mageness. That's good. That's good. Mine? Okay. Now we gotta beat the Bone Crushes. Let's bring you back. Get that life total up a little higher. Thassa. Bingo. Well, that worked out. That worked out. Oh my god. That Storm's Wrath saved me from just the most brutal of draws. Couldn't the opponent... didn't they miss lethal? If they hadn't killed the Cavalier of Thorns, didn't they just have lethal? I'm sure they did. Somebody do the math. Alright, we've got some ramp. Let's do the thing. Let's do the thing. Try it up. More growth spiral? I think we've got enough of that. Red-green Paradise Druid. Okay. Looking alright. Let's see what the opponent does here. Spellbreaker. Pretty strong. Now, do they attack with Paradise Druid so that I can Omnath it? Okay, they do. Let's put the temple down. Scry that to the bottom. Ooh, let's just do that. So I was going to play Omnath, kill their Paradise Druid, and then next turn this would be large enough to get into battle with the Spellbreaker. I think if the opponent had a Questing Beast, they would have played it. I could play Uro and wait one more turn on this Storm's Wrath, but I don't like that. I think that waiting against these decks just gets you Embercleaved, and once there's an Embercleave on this Spellbreaker, I can't even kill it with a Storm's Wrath. So we'll just do this now. Robber of the rich. Fun. Deals my agent of treachery. Rude. So this shoots for 1, but it becomes a 4/4. I can play this and both these lands and a Risen Reef. I'd have to pay 4 life for it, but I guess it gets a Risen Reef down. Does the opponent have a Bone Crusher Giant? Let's see. If I hit next, we'll find out. I don't think so. All right. I gotta get these Risen Reefs out at some point, and if it had ramped again, we'd be really happy about it. Next turn, we do have Risen Reef Omnath to kill the Robber of the Rich. Fabled Passage goes and gets something. What will it be? This is probably just an Embercleave. Well, they hit a Growth Spiral. No blocks. Just an Embercleave, he says, as if that were something to sneeze at. Down to 9. Okay, so we lead with you. I wish I could find a way to sneak out one more land so that the Fable Passage and Omnath could happen this turn, but that doesn't look reasonable. So here's the Omnath. Kills the Robber of the Rich, double triggers the Reefs, and we start drawing cards here pretty soon. Gonna just make the Omnath huge. And the opponent wants no more of that. I am at 7. Well, like, if they play a Questing Beast and then equip it and attack with it the next turn, I probably die, but... Yeah, it has ramp, and it has Omnath, and it's on the draw, so I'm nervous. I'm nervous I'll be dead before this Omnath does something useful. Maybe Storm's Wrath. Like, that's why having the Storm's Wrath in the deck actually made a big difference. Ooh, this is a rough matchup. We need the Uro. Uro's life gain is one of the only ways we survive this fight, because they just pick off, they just do so much incremental damage. Ooh, they're the version with Slaughter Priest. Oh god, this hits really hard really fast. Yeah, we're in bad shape. They have a cat right here. Okay. Priest. I don't think they'll want to sacrifice that, but of course they have a cat. Oh, they always have cat and oven. When I play this deck, I never have cat and oven at the same time, like right away, the way that that people seem to do to me. But you'll get to see the Slaughter Priest action, which not enough people play this because usually it doesn't live long enough, especially in Best of 1, to do anything, so nobody does this. But as you see, whenever they sacrifice another permanent, +2/+0. So Savvy Opponent brings the cat back, because that would have been 2 more damage. Alright, Storm's Wrath or bust, I think. Omnath. Nope. Gotta dig. Nope. Well, we could play out the Omnath, but it doesn't kill anything here. You could try to block the Slaughter Priest, though. But so could a Risen Reef. But then the opponent's just going to use Priest of the Forgotten Gods, so I guess we're best off ramping harder and digging more. But the opponent should be able to kill me next turn, if they know how. But they already showed us they don't know everything about the Slaughter Priest. So I guess we have to take a chance. Alright, let's see if they figure it out. I'm sure the kill is there. It has to be. Alright, they brought the cat back this time. We got a learning computer on our hands, everybody. Not quite. So 12, 14. All they had to do was sacrifice both of these to the Priest of the Forgotten Gods, and it would have been lethal. Well, I was not meant to win this game. That draw definitely failed. All right, we're on the play this time. And we have the Storm's Wrath Leafkin Druid combo. I say that sarcastically. That's something I would like. Heck yes, a way to ramp without committing to the board. Mono red. Mono red. Alright, I'm going to Scry again, then probably Uro next turn, and then Storm's Wrath. And we'll try to save the Leafkin Druid. Yeah, more land. We'll try to save the Leafkin Druid to play with a Risen Reef or play after the Wrath at some point. Rude. Alright, we'll have to hit a land the hard way. Or not at all. Let's find out. We miss on the land because of this Robber of the Rich. The salt might get extreme, but we got there. We're okay. Now, is there an Annex? That's the next question of, like, how wrecked am I going to get today? Perfect. And they missed on land. Another Uro? What does my play look like next turn? Probably Leafkin Druid and Risen Reef. I shouldn't need this. Light them up. Oh yeah, bring out those 1/1s. Ooh, Cavalier of Thorns. What's better, playing Cavalier of Thorns or Risen Reef Leafkin? Do they have a shock? Nope. Okay, so I'll just take this opportunity while they don't have a shock. Whew. No land. Drawing a lot of spells. My nearly 50% land deck, but that's fine. If the rim is rocking, Bone Crush my face, okay. Opponent has decided it's all about that face. Alright, let's send out the Cavalier. Not paying life for any lands at this stage. So what I could have done might have been interesting. I could have put this into my hand so I could play it and then Growth Spiral. Like I could have played it, sacrificed it, grabbed another island and Growth Spiraled. Still this turn. Let's show him who's boss. Alright. Alright. Well, you know, they're trying to get there. Ice cold. Ice cold. No remorse. We'll send the Cav. Risen Reef can stay home. Still 8 life to go. Don't think they have a spell that does 8 damage for 1 mana, but who knows? Who knows, everybody? That's enough. They're not going to let me take all of their lands. Not this time. Opponent goes first, but we have Ramp, Wrath. So I'll hang on to this, and if they're a creature deck, we should be able to survive. Okay. Well, you know, maybe. Oftentimes you can have a perfect draw and the red just doesn't care. But let's scry it up. Thassa? I don't think we want Thassa right now. Paying 4 mana for Thassa and having it not do anything is sort of its own death sentence. Yeah, Rimrock Knight. Our opponent with about as decked out a red deck as I've ever seen so far. You'd think they've ever played another color in their life, but they don't have the light up the stages. Weird. Alright, so since they revealed a light up the stage, and I want to make it awkward, we're going to play the Leafkin Druid instead of the Growth Spiral, which normally I wouldn't want the Leafkin Druid on the battlefield if I planned a Storm's Wrath, but here, there's that light up the stage. Gotta try to make it awkward. So they have to play the other Fervent Champion. Here they come. And no land. Love it. Couldn't be happier. Alright, Uro. Do that thing. Gain me some life. Get me a card. Set me up for this Storm's Wrath. We'll play the tap land, but we don't really want to reveal the second red. Not that Storm's Wrath is usually on their radar anyway when they see Leafkin Druid. I wonder if we can get our opponent to use their Bone Crusher Giant on the Leafkin here. They have an exiled Embercleave they're not going to cast. The Rimrock is exiled, but it's in the Adventure Zone. But the Bone Crusher Giant and the Rimrock Knight, or the Embercleave, those are the ones on the kind of on the chopping block for right now. I'm still blocking. Want to prevent damage where I can. So let's see if they cast this Bone Crusher Giant. Yep. Trying to set up for their own sweet Embercleave next turn. Make it look like we top decked it. Just sizing up like what my mana needs might be. And blow them up. Let's try that again. Runaway Steamkin, that's a good one. That is a good one. And we know that there are non-land spells left in hand, so we've got a long way to go, but there's the agent. I will have your Runaway Steamkin. It's a bit of a mana battery. We just, like 7 mana to deal with a 2 mana spell, but that's how good the Steamkin can be. It's also an elemental, so it fits better in my deck than yours, to be honest. Spite Shock. Shock of Anger. Rimrock comes down, and now there's a Cavalier of Thorns. So we can go Cavalier of Thorns into Uro, possibly Risen Reef into Cavalier of Thorns if there's exactly an untapped land on top of our deck. But setting up the Uro sounds great, because then we get to start Uroing next turn, which they probably can't beat. Might as well pay the 2 life. We'll end up a life after we use this. I like that better than getting the Risen Reef down. I'd rather play Risen Reef when I can play another elemental as well, if possible, since it dies pretty easily. All right. I'm all set up here. I'm ready for Embercleave. How many Fervent Champions will we see? Can we get all of them? Wow. Just put it all on the line. All right. I said I wanted another elemental to play, but I also want to bring back Uro this turn. So this does 2. I can take out the Robber. In case our opponent has Torbrand, the Scorch Spitter might be the biggest threat, but the Rimrock Knight has the most power if they have Embercleave. And since they don't need a land to play the Embercleave, I should play around that. But let's lead with the Uro. Oh wait, hold on. If I hit a land, I'm going to want to put it on the battlefield. So we're going to want the Omnath already on the battlefield for that. So here comes Uro. We pick out the cards that we'd least likely want to get back with Cavalier of Thorns when exiling. We didn't hit the land, but we're in good shape. We'll just leave this wall of beef in front of the opponent. I'm in no rush. I don't mind winning by concession as opposed to attacking. On the draw with the Storm's Wrath Leafkin Druid combo again, but we've seen it pay off. The opponent just doesn't expect it. And they've got those Chandra sleeves. They're probably doing the same thing every other best of one player is doing but me. Attacking. Attacking with Embercleave. Doesn't seem to get old. Oh, what's this? Temple of Enlightenment. Never mind. Whole different game plan at work. Wonder what kind of game this will be. Yeah, we need land. Land is pretty much what I'm looking for right there. Bant. Bant Spiral. Okay, well they're on the play with the Growth Spiral. They're way ahead. Here's the Leafy Druid. Shock yourself. Which Teferi would you like to play? Why leave the mana up then?
Might be a bad idea.
I don't know. Grazer? Yeah, okay. Well, I guess you had the land. They already had the land when they played that, or that play makes no sense. Well, let's try to at least punish them for bouncing the Leafkin sorta by using a Risen Reef. And then our Leafkin can draw a card. We have Thassa Agent. The problem with Thassa Agent in this matchup is Elspeth Conquers Death. We need to draw that out.
No, I am not making this up as I go.
And we need to do it before we lose to Nissa. Cameo.
You would make an excellent informant for my study.
Yeah, we are doomed. Our opponent is 2 planeswalkers up. We have no board.
I think you will find my notes helpful.
We would need a lot to work out to be in this game. And, well, they looked for Nissa and did not find, but they have an Elspeth Conquers Death they can get back, which is huge. All right. So, let's do this. Guess we might need another red at some point, so we'll get one now. Let's play you. 2 damage, take you out. Put that on the battlefield. Put a counter here. Cavalier of Thorns. I'm going to shuffle it away anyway, though. I think. Let's think about that. Do I play the Scryland or do I make this a 4/4? Like, either way. Yeah, I think I want this Cavalier of Thorns. I think I'm going to get this Elspeth Conquers Death to take out one of my elementals here. And I think it will be the... I'm not sure what it will be. But anyway, that's down. Now the opponent has to do something about the board. If they have a Shatter this guy, that's really unfortunate. But you see him digging. They're going to play Elspeth Conquers Death. Take out the Reef? Interesting. And we're going up to 7 mana, where Agent can come down and grab the Elspeth Conquers Death. And what's in my graveyard? Nothing. That's not great. What about Tameo? The thing is, I don't have a way to get rid of this otherwise, and it's bringing back really annoying stuff. And the Tameo, I can kill it right now. Oh yeah. Let's do it. And then if the opponent blows up the board, I get back the agent with the Elspeth Conquers Death. If the opponent has another Elspeth Conquers Death and they take out the agent, maybe I'll put something in the graveyard for this with the Cavalier of Thorns. So Omnath, leading the charge, helping the comeback. There's a Hydroid Krasis. Hydroid Krasis strong. Do I want to try to get something into the graveyard with the Cavalier of Thorns? Or do I want to play the Thassa and just steal things? We can see what happens if I attack. I'm gonna take this route. I want value off the last part of Elspeth Conquers Death really bad. I'm greedy like that. Alright, so counter here. Island, sweet. Oh, now we get to do it all. That was the perfect draw. The opponent won't want to kill this because of Elspeth Conquers Death, right? Right. So it's 2 free damage. It's a bit of a bluff. They don't know I have Thassa. Yep. And that'll do it. That'll do it. All right, back for the little chat at the end. I enjoy this deck. It's very similar to the Sultai list I ran a few days ago with the Cavalier of Thorns and Uro tag team growth spiral package. Instead of Hydroid Krasis, we have Omnath, who once you have 8 lands starts drawing a card for every land on the battlefield that enters the battlefield, which is pretty good. And the Storm's Wrath makes a big difference. It's a bit more flexible than Ritual of Soot, and you saw it in the games against aggro. It was huge. If aggro weren't as much a part of the meta, similar to best of 3, you can just cut the Storm's Wrath and have 4 Thassas and 4 agents, and then you're playing, I think, the game that this deck really wants to play, which is my end game is to take all of your things while making you deal with this endless value from Uro, Risen Reef, and Omnath. But in the best of one world, we still have to sweep the board. And it's kind of amazing how you play 1 Leafkin Druid, and the opponent will just dump their hand. No holding back, just go for it. And a Storm's Wrath goes a long way to mess them up. So, with that in mind, this is how I would play it for best of 1, and open to your suggestions and your sideboarding if you decide to play best of 3, or what else you would do with this. And this is definitely not the aggro elemental shell, so like Chandra, Acolyte of Flame, and Scampering Scorcher. Those are definitely a different style of elemental deck that some people enjoy, but that I feel hasn't changed very much since the elemental package came out in M20, so there isn't much to talk about with it, in my opinion. But I like this deck. It's another one of those that feels like a 50-50 ranked deck where it's hard to get an edge, so you just need a good string of luck to rank up with it. A bad string of luck and you'll probably rank down pretty fast, like most things. The game plan is solid, but definitely not unbeatable. TEMUR Adventures or Simic Adventures, like all those adventure decks are still bad matchups as we don't really deal with Clover so much as try to get 7 mana to steal it, which they just steal it back with Brazen Borrower, so it's pretty awkward. Anyway, I think I've talked enough about the deck. If you like elementals, this is definitely a build worth a try. Thank you for watching this video. As always, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.